Hello, family. Welcome to Oracle Conversations, where we have conversations and pull Oracle cards to give us insight on what's happening around us in the world, how you're feeling, and things of that nature. There is a lot going on in the world, right? And the crazy thing about it is there always has been. I think I'm going to take you guys outside with me. I want to go outside. While we can use Abram Hicks cards today. While my face mask dries and sets, right? It is interesting at all of the things that are transpiring in this world, in this life, in this time span, time frame that we're in. I think I'm gonna sit on this side. And I just find it, this cushion is hot. I just find it interesting that we come up with all of these creative ways to have these discussions, and there's a lot of great scholars and deep thinkers and eloquent speakers, right? And I mean, I'm a decent speaker, but I can have issues formulating the actual words that I want to say, because I do understand very much how words are spells. So I try to be as careful as possible, especially when I'm speaking to a mass amount of people and things of that nature. Anyways, I was on the Tiki Talks, the clock app, and I noticed a flow of something, right? They can come together and dox people and get people fired and mass harass and, it's just interesting at how humans will come together to do a thing but won't come together to do something else that will actually benefit humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can all come together and get a Karen fired from a job, or at least some type of leave or a smack on the wrist or whatever. We can bring so much attention to a situation that something shifts in it in a major way for the people involved. But we can't seem to come together and do the same thing when it comes to our governments and how they're treating us, or to our I'm sorry, I just don't want to be stung by anything. I don't mess with nature, but I don't want it messing with me either. Okay. Okay, he's gone. Yes, live your life, poo-poo. I just find it interesting that we come together and people I see posts like "I am not my ancestors," and I'm thinking to myself, oh, they know. They know. Because see, your ancestors did things that you're too lazy to get up off the couch and do. This world of technology and the things that have evolved in this world has made it so convenient for us that we don't want to be inconvenienced or uncomfortable. A couple days ago, like, the power went out. It's about a 10-block radius, so some of the main streets didn't have the traffic lights weren't working and things of that sort. And you should have saw the way that all the people were, like, outside and just upset. And once I came outside and realized, I said, okay, it's a power outage. Everybody's outside. Everybody trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, so it's everybody. It's not just me. Because, you know, I want to figure out, do I need to call a light company? Is it just my house? Or do I need to, oh, okay, it's everybody. Once I realized it was everybody, I went in the house. I prepared a cute little book bag, right? Because I have a sister, I have a cousin that stays nearby, and then my sister stays further downtown. But either way, I'd walk to either one of their houses. I don't care about any of that. It was a beautiful day outside too. I was just like, okay, okay. I'm the only one home. So I just started devising a plan. If this lasts longer and I need to do X, Y, and Z, I can go here, I can go here, I can go here. So I started sending texts to people and letting them know, you know, I might need to leave. I might need to come stay tonight. I'm not really sure how this is, you know, what's happening. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody's like, cool, keep me informed. So I go, I pack me a bag. I think, what are you going to wear? What are you going to walk in? How are you going to be comfortable? Okay. And when things like that happen, I think like 3 days span. So maybe it won't come back on right away. Maybe this will take a couple of days. Who knows what the issue is? I don't work for the electric company, and you know, as long as I know it's not just my house, it's a bigger issue. You know, it's gonna get handled at some point, right? Plus, I have a backup generator and a solar panel, so I was only gonna leave if I like superly had to leave. You know what I mean? But I'm preparing, right? Preparing just in case I have to leave. But my generator's charged. I don't need to use the charge. I'm gonna plug up because everything shut off. So all I had was my iPad and my 2 iPhones. So now I'm plugging everything up to make sure everything is charged right now, right? I'm plugging everything up, making everything charged. But I'm not gonna use the charge for my generator. I am going to plug the solar panel in and let everything run off that, right? It's still daylight outside. Like, I'm good. I can make this happen. And I got to intel in that because I forgot where this was going. It'll come back to me though, because it's part of the premise of where I'm headed. You know, our ancestors, okay, there we go, our ancestors and what they have versus what we have. And so a lot of people think what we have is better because it's more convenient. We can get on a device and talk to somebody in a different country, on a different continent, in a different time zone, and organize and whoop, whoop, whoop. When actuality, what I have learned about the human species is the less work a lot of humans have to put into a thing, the less they care about it. But the more work humans have to put into a thing, the more they care about it. And I'm going to give you an example. If I had to walk from Tennessee to Alabama, right, on a protest, that's going to make me care about my rights. It's going to make me pay attention to things. That's going to make me want to be more politically active. That's going to make me want to be more of a driving force in regards to fighting for my rights. Now, we don't really have to. We don't have to send mail. We don't have to walk for hours to meet up and have secret meetings and then walk hours to go back. You know, for marginalized people, ancestors, that's what they did. You know, and I'm not far removed. My grandmother like marched with King, and she told stories about how they had to go way to a whole, not another part of town, like to a whole nother state, because, you know, when it's just like concerts, when they come to a certain state, they're going to go like to the biggest city. So if you stay in Alabama, in the state of Alabama, right, I think Birmingham is one of their bigger cities, and whoever is in charge is coming to Birmingham, and you stay in what's that, Tuscaloosa. I don't really. You stay in another part that's hundreds of miles away, and imagine having to walk that, or pile up a car full of people and do that trip twice because you're the only one in the neighborhood with a car. Like, they really put in super hard work. When people talk about hard work, they talk about, oh my God, I had to type this day and night. You're typing. And yes, brain work is just as exhausting as physical work. But, like, let's keep it 1,000. And I'm not saying one is better than the other or whatever. But my point is that the work that they put in versus what we're doing now is nothing compares. Okay? I don't think we should be comparing what they did then to what we're doing now. I don't think we should be comparing. I think we should be looking at what they did and seeing if there's anything that we can implement, because apparently what they did worked. I mean, you know, I can now work from home and not be bothered pretty much with anyone because of my grandmother. People like my grandmother and her mother and her sisters and her brothers. You understand what I'm saying? So, will there ever be another shift like that? I don't think this generation or any generation, Z, X, elemental P, I don't think any generation is willing to put in the work that the ancestors did. I don't think anyone's willing to put in that type of work. And the people that are can't agree. We have tons of great activists in the melanated and any marginalized community. They have great activists, right, that are getting things done. The Latino community, they have great activists that are getting things done. But will we ever have something that's as impactful as the Civil War or you know, the Civil Rights Movement? No. There'll be impactful moments, but nothing like that. I don't believe. I think people are too lazy. I think things are too convenient. I mean, you know, Alexa, change the song. Alexa, Alexa, open the door. You think that person gonna fight for you, for me, for themselves? They probably don't even get up off the couch. And I don't hate electronics. I have a lot of them, but I have the ones that are necessary. I don't need to tell my computer to skip a song. I just refuse to let myself get that comfortable, that lazy, and let all of these conveniences ruin I don't want to say ruin, but let all of these conveniences sidetrack me. That's what I'll say. I can't let all of these conveniences sidetrack me from staying healthy or being conscious of my surroundings. Like, you know, I don't need Alexa to turn my lights and my TV off. Like, give me a break. And you can say jealousy or whatever, but I have the money for all of that crap. But I can't come to spend my money on it. And, you know, I'll pay for streaming services, but I'm not buying albums. What I need to buy an album for, I'll stream your album, and you can get the coin from that. But I'm not going to stream and buy your album. I pay for streaming services. So to me, you've already got your coin. Okay? My support will come through the streaming service. That goes for books too. I don't have books on my bookshelves. I have other things on my shelves because I have products and things that I actually do for people. So I do other things with that. But no, why I have Kindle and I have Audible. So if your book's not on there, it's on one of those. I can promise you it's on one of those. And I have Gumroad because, you know, some people self-publish and they put it on in places where, you know, I don't know. I just feel like we are entering into an era of, and there are plenty of people out here fighting, you know, fighting for rights and things of that nature, but you just can't do it the way you used to, and that's insanity. If you think you can win another civil war by doing the same thing our ancestors did, you're wrong. Okay, first of all, we're not even in that era anymore. And plotting and planning has become harder because we're too lazy. We want to do everything on these electronics when you know that the government is tapped in and tuned into all of the electronics. They have your location. The Apple did a thing when the C19 started, and you can turn it on and they can tell you where the hot spots are. I'm not turning. What? And I believe it's still in settings. I haven't looked and checked in a while, but I just don't understand why we are in a state of talking about how we're going to make some things better that they think they're going to do it. You think you're going to do it with this. Think you're going to do it with this right here, this device. You're going to change the world with the device. He's already, the person that created this already changed the world with the device. He gave us the device. He did. He made everyone lazier. And yes, it's convenient, but to me, convenience sometimes can be lazy. When people say the word convenience or convenience, I'd be like, oh, okay, you're somewhere cushy and you don't want to be bothered. You don't want to be inconvenienced. You want things to be more convenient. Yada, yada, yada. Today's a rambling day. I don't know. I just feel like people and places are chaotic. We know what we want, but we don't know how to, and the bugs are bugging. We know what we want, but we don't know how to effectively obtain it. And people can't agree enough. There's too much access to information. So it's like, that's not true, and we can't do that. And there's always someone in the crowd that's a naysayer. I learned to pay attention to my feelings. Your emotions are absolute indicators of your current point of attraction. They help you know in any moment whether or not you are currently allowing the fulfillment of your desire. It is our encouragement that you pay attention to how you feel and allow your emotions to be the valuable indicators that they are. Emotions and intuition is very much tied into one another. So I understand why she would say that on a card. You know, the hairs on the back of your neck, the little goosebumpies on your arms, the whispers when no one is there, gives you feelings. You either feel safer, or you feel threatened, or you feel like you're going to be harmed, threatened. You feel like you're going to be harmed, things of that nature. Pay attention to those things. It's part of the movement. It's part of how things are going to shift and change, at least for you, right? I tell my boys all the time, tune into yourself. Don't do nothing when you're angry or sad or depressed. Do nothing, okay? Because you won't do it effectively. You won't do it sufficiently. This card is a 10, by the way, 28. Why are they not getting what they are asking for? 40 or 4. If people are not receiving what they are asking for, it can only be the person's, it can only be, this is why I wear glasses, Lord have mercy. It can only be that the persons holding the desire are out of alignment with their own request. There is no shortage, there is no lack, there is no competition for resources. There is only the allowing or the disallowing of which one is asking for. There is never lack. I don't believe in lack. I don't believe that there isn't enough and things of that nature. I never have believed that. You know, I'm the kid in class like, there's no more, but I just saw the bucket over there with the extra ice creams in it. Just say you're done giving out ice creams. Just say ain't no more ice cream for today. That's ice cream for tomorrow. But clearly there's more ice cream. You know what I'm saying? I was that kid. Like, you're going to have to tell me something different, sis. Okay? You're going to have to tell me the truth, boo. It is very interesting to know that you can have the power to your sovereignty whether the government says you have it or not. And I think it's so funny that they do that. You know, they tell you what you can and can't do, and then it's just like, but I can though. I mean, I may not be able to do it in this state. I may not be able to do it in this county. I may not be able to do it in this city, but I can do it. And I think a lot of people get upset because they want to be able to do it where they want to be able to do it. And, you know, that's what homes and cars are for. That's what personal space is for, you know. You want to fight for rights that the government doesn't believe that you have. We've never been anything but laborers. Like, look at the language in the Constitution and look at the language in these documents. You know, it was interesting. There was a video floating around about how they change the language from mother to birthing person. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. You know, because in legal paperwork, when you recognize the sovereignty of something or the autonomy of something, when you recognize that something is separate from the system, I'm trying to see how I can say this. When you want, in legal paperwork, there is a reason they do not separate. They don't want you to think that you have any control. So they use words that are foreign to your normal everyday language and make it less human and more alien-like, right? They make it to a point where, Southwest they make it to a point where, like, you can understand what they're saying. I'm not saying that we don't understand what they're saying. It's just how they're saying it. And they say it in a way to dehumanize humans, where you're a number and not a name. You know, when I looked up like slave manifests, there's no original names in those manifests. Everything's a number or some type of location or some type of, you were never human to larger entities. You know, I've worked in industries where, you know, in banking industries, you're not, you know, what do they ask you when you call? They ask you your name and your social security number, but you're in the system by your account number. The system is created to put that information in to obtain things about you before actually putting your name in. Like, and that's usually the last result the customer service representative will use, because it takes longer. I know, I've worked in those systems. It takes longer to look you up by your name or something like that. But your social security number, oh yeah, I can pin you in right there. It takes longer to look you up by your address. But your birthday, yep. Your account number, yep. Or your registry number, or your whatever kind of number they call it, or code. The systems are built to log and run numbers and run information based off of that. It's not this human. It's not for that. It is natural for my body to be well. Amen, amen. 1358 4 4 4 10 10 4 4 4 4 1. Just calling off the numbers from the cards, because I know people who are normally, if you're into tarot and astrology and things like that, you brush through numerology as well. Or you may be a numerologist person, right? So I always try to, if I see numbers, I always try to say them, because it means something to someone. It is natural for my body to be well. You do not have to think specific positive thoughts about your body, but you have to not think specific negative thoughts. If you could never again think about your body and instead just think pleasant thoughts, your body would reclaim its natural place of wellness. Amen, amen. You know, our minds are so powerful, right? Our minds are so powerful. They have us not only believing a thing, but executing a thing and getting things done and accomplishing a thing. Because what you think you can bring to fruition, what you know you can have, that it is you know you can have, you can truly have. And it's about the action that you're going to have to put into it in order to obtain it. But let me just say this, you know, community is great. Be in the community, but not of the community. Be in this world, but not of this world. I don't care what your class is, your status in life, or any of those fantasy words that help you with your placement in regards to your currency value. But I will say this. Not only be happy with what you have, but be grateful for what you can gain. And know that you don't have to conquer government, capitalism, any of the isms. You don't have to conquer those things to have a peaceful, wonderful life. You don't have to abolish those things in order to have, our ancestors found happiness in their most tumultuous state, which was in slavery. They still were able to find happiness. And some people will say that's settling, but I would like to take this time not to disagree, because to some form it is, but I just want to give you some insight to that. You know, when I was telling you a story about the lights off and, you know, the light, you know, the electricity and what was happening, instead of sulking or being upset, because I play music constantly, right? Instead of sulking or being upset, I came up with a plan. And then I went back to, you know, the devices that I did have that were on, that were charged. I read me a book. And then I turned everything off. And I just sat and had a beautiful talk with the Most High. I did some cleaning. I just shifted. Adapted, even. A lot of us cannot do that. I mean, it was people outside screaming like, oh my God, I hope they're going to give me my money back for my meat. My freezer is off. Like, And the thing about it was the power outage only lasted maybe like 20 minutes, if that. If that. But in that time frame, I came up with a plan, and then I just lived life. Like, you cannot allow any of these systems, circumstances, situations determine how you're going to live your life. If they were to get rid of electricity tomorrow, I promise you, I will still do well. You should too. I'm not saying devise a plan for that now, but what I'm saying is be adaptable. Be knowledgeable. Be adaptable. Be well.